If the mouse tool existed in real life, would that be like a problem for Jeff Bezos? Okay, so fun fact, really, really sad fact, this entire video had actually already been recorded. The entire thing. No script, obviously, because I don't work with a script, but the entire thing had been recorded. All the gags were there. All the jokes were there. Actually, there were no jokes, because this is not a joking matter. But anyway, it had already been recorded. And then I got to editing, because I edited in CapCut, really staying true to my minimalist roots. And there's a weird zzz noise in the background. Why? Because I had my laptop on charge the entire time I was recording. So a note to self, don't charge your computer while using the mic. And I think my mouse just appeared on the side. Honestly, this is just such a great start, but it's fine because it means that perhaps maybe I have a chance to be more coherent and not fix my hair in the middle of the preamble. Too late for that. Anyway, it's fine. Let's begin to explain. I say begin to explain because I don't feel like this needs any explanation. You know this. Even if you're not Black, you already know this. If you have like any kind of like pattern recognition, you can recognize Black girls don't get love interests. And I feel a little bit bad because the title's kind of been switched in the sense that it sounds like it's going to be like a really well-researched video into like why that is and why all these other things happen, but really it's actually just a vehicle for me to complain about these two instances of the trope on screen. I say the trope because it's a known thing, and it's so known that I've made a TikTok about it actually, and that TikTok still gets likes and comments of shows that do this to this day. Like, it's insane. It is insane. And actually, technically speaking, it was more about disposable Black girlfriend trope, which the top example here follows. But I'm lumping it all in together as Black girls getting a love interest, because really, if you're a disposable, then you don't really get a fully fledged love interest, right? So it works for the topic at hand. Let's move on. Now, again, as I said earlier, right, this is really just a vehicle for me to complain about these two. And I don't know which one is more egregious than the other. These two are Fred and Tamara. Given that Fred and Tamara are both boy and girl name respectively, I think you know which one is which, but just in case you're an idiot, Fred is the white boy and Tamara is the Black girl. These two, man. I will maintain for the rest of my days that these two suffered from not only poor writing, but also potentially from racism in the writer's room, because there's no reason why these two broke up. There's no actual reason other than, oh, well, you know, there was already a woman written for him and he has to get with that girl because why not? But there was no reason. Outside of that, there was no reason. And because this is one of those niche Canadian-French collaboration cartoons, let me set the stage for you, because I doubt that anyone's ever seen this. This show follows Fred. Fred is the main character. He's very blasé kind of guy. In fact, the literal French title for it is Blaise le Blasé, because he's so very blasé about things. He has 3 love interests throughout the show. 4 kind of technically, but the 4th one is just more of a gag of, oh, is she gay, is she not? So it's 3. This girl, Tamara, is the 2nd one that he has before he finally gets with Annette, who I think should be on screen right now. Yeah, she's on screen. And it was the best love interest he had. It was the best love interest he had because the relationship was the only one that felt real. And I'm not even going to pretend like I'm not a victim to bias. I am. I have bias for anyone that is Black. Immediately I am biased for them, and everything that they do is amazing. But these two had amazing writing. I love romance in any form that it is in. Whether the writing is horrible, whether the writing is good, I love seeing romance. These two had amazing writing. Do you know how many hurdles they overcame in the course of their relationship? They were in a relationship for 3 episodes. 3.5. But I hate the last one because that's when they break up. So 3 episodes. She comes from a wealthier background than him. She wanted to go to a restaurant that was really pricey. He was like, okay, I'll just work extra shifts. They get into like some stupid argument over rom-coms because she likes rom-coms and he doesn't. Because he's one of those people where he's very intellectual. Well, he's not very intellectual, but he's one of those people where he's like, he kind of puts down people inadvertently. They get into an argument about it. He doesn't want to fight. He gets the help of his friends. Yeah, the help does cause like an extra argument in it, but they get over that too. The writing is good. They were a natural couple. And oh my Sorry, another thing that's really important to address, actually. You see this thing? You see that? You see the thing that's going on behind that girl's head? This thing has only happened to Fred twice. 3 times if you count the plastic surgeon's grandmother. Do not question it, just watch the episode. But that was more of a gag, so it's actually only happened twice. Once for Annette in like the first or second episode, and here. This is important because the reason that the writers give for them breaking up is his letter to her going, oh, you know, I loved you, but not the way you deserve. Because apparently he's still hung up on Annette, even though when they were dating, for the episode where they had the fight about the rom-com, remember I mentioned that earlier? Yeah, I'm glad you remembered that. The fight where they had about the rom-com, Annette was there. Annette was in school. We see her pass by in idle scenes. She was in school. Because an excuse that you could give for the episode they fall in love, the episode where this happens, is that Annette isn't there. She's on holiday with one of Fred's best friends. But she's back at school for the time that they're dating. So like he didn't even think about Annette for the time that they were dating up until the last minute where they had to break up because Fred just had to go with Annette. I'm sorry, like this is what I mean. Like this was horrible writing that I can only chalk up to racism, because why did this need to happen? Why did this need to happen? And it's so irritating because if anyone watching, which I doubt anyone's watching in the first place, but if anyone watching has watched the show, they know it's a subversive cartoon for its time. It is a bit subversive. Clearly not enough though, because the disposable thing is still a thing. And like Tamara, and the extra gag, we don't see Tamara after they break up. We don't see her again once. We see her for a brief time when her friends help her get a new look after the breakup because she's devastated about it, because obviously their relationship was so adorable. There are so many things about the relationship that was so cute. Not at least the height difference, please. I'm so shallow. Like, I'm sorry if I'm all over the place, but these two's relationship was delicious. It can only be described as delicious. Like it was so great. It was so heartwarming, and to have it ripped away from me, it's gotta be racism. I can't chalk it up to anything else. It's gotta be racism plus poor writing, because I'm lost. Like I'm confused. Like, oh yeah. And also, you know what doesn't help? It's a Canadian French show. So like, yeah, racism would have to be in the mix. It would have to be. No, honestly, their breakup left me like thinking, what the hell? And speaking of what the hell, let's move on to our next egregious example, which is our wonderful Claudine Wolfe, and the fact that she just doesn't get a love interest, and the horrible reason that was given for such. Now, as far as generations go, I don't know about G3 because I actively am not watching that. That's not for me. That's not for people of my age. I think that's just fully for kids that don't even know what Monster High is. But like G1 and G2, as far as they go, Claudine doesn't get a consistent love interest. She doesn't. And she's the only one of her friendship group to not get one. And she's the only one of her friendship group that is meant to be coded as black. If she is given one, it's very lackluster. Like, she was given one in Ghouls Rule at the end, but it was one of those vampire characters. And if you've ever seen a G1 movie, you know that the vampire characters are very like cookie cutter. There's not much thought put into their design. And then in G2 she gets one, but like I haven't actually watched that movie, so I don't know if that's really strong. And even then, that's just like one, and it's not really like a strong character. And also, again, like G1 is the most popular one, and for her to not have a love interest in the most popular version of the series is just, sorry, like it's a really good example of the fact that we're just not given love interest in media. But I think what irritates me more about Claudine not having a love interest is not really the fact that she doesn't have a love interest. I mean, that's still annoying, but also the reason given, or the excuse given for why she doesn't have one. Like, if you know anything about the fandom, a lot of people like to ship her with Draculaura, her bestie. I don't agree with the ship, not at least because I don't believe in gay girl, straight girl pining ships. I don't like that. Like, that's kind of, no, like I don't like that. For God's sake, I think that gay characters deserve better than to be put with somebody that clearly is not of that orientation. But anyway, oh, but it's realistic, it's relatable. Yeah, so is getting racially profiled. Yet I don't like seeing that in media, do I? Like, for goodness sake, want better for yourself. That aside, yeah, a lot of people like to ship Claudine with Draculaura. And apparently the creator, I don't know whether or not he's the creator of the series, he's the director, or he's in charge of the doll line or something, but he on Twitter went either, I don't actually know what year it was, but I know he came on here and was like, yeah, you know, not on here, on Twitter, he was like, yeah, you know, I wanted Claudine to be gay, but like Mattel just wasn't buying for it, so you know, and that is one of the worst excuses I've ever heard. I don't buy that. I'm sorry, not for a minute do I ever buy that excuse. That is a horrible excuse. And it's also really evil, because think about it. Okay, she was meant to be a lesbian. Fine. So you just didn't give her love interest? So you acted like a petulant child when writing a character that's black. And meanwhile, the climate at that time, you would have had to have subconsciously known black characters, black girls don't get love interest in media. So what I can only assume is that you knew that this would be fine if you just didn't give her a love interest at all. It's very petulant, because it's like if you say to a child, oh, you know, a child's like, oh, I want an ice lolly for washing the dishes, and you're like, no, you don't get an ice lolly, just wash the dishes. And you're like, I'm not gonna wash the dishes. Oh, what? So because you couldn't make her a lesbian, you just decided to not give her love interest at all? You decided to not give the only black girl in the ensemble cast a consistent love interest? That's really dark-sided. That's at best petulant and at worst dark-sided, because you knew you would get away with that. And also, I don't buy it because it's like, okay, fine, right? Like, I don't think there was any implication that it was going to be Claudine and Draculaura that would be together, but like, okay, let's pretend that he implied that there would be. So Draculaura and Claudine were both meant to be gay, but Draculaura gets a love interest to replace, and Claudine doesn't get anything. Additionally, I don't mean to be funny, but like the metrics of the only like sassy black character in a friendship group being the lesbian is very, like, the optics of that are actually horrible. That is just prime stereotyping, and I'm not going for that. Like, aside from the fact that I do not believe she was meant to be lesbian in the first place. I'm sorry, I think that's just a lackluster excuse as to why she doesn't have a love interest. I think that was an excuse made that he knew would appease fans, so they wouldn't question it. Because like, oh, well, she was meant to be gay, that's why she's a black girl, but yet again doesn't have a love interest because she was meant to be lesbian. No. And not to mention, you could have really towed the line with the androgynous thing. You could have done like a androgyny thing where it's like, oh, it's a man, but he looks like a girl. I mean, you could have satisfied your wants, but you didn't have that want in the first place. That's why she doesn't have a love interest, not because she was meant to be any kind of different sexual orientation. And as if we needed any more proof that this was definitely an after the fact, oh, it doesn't really look good that the only black character doesn't have a love interest, damage control. As if we didn't need enough proof that it was that. Her canon girlfriend is Toralei. And like the jokes write themselves. Toralei was straight up a terrorist. Toralei would terrorize Claudine and her friends. Why would she? Like, why would that? Like, no new character. If there was a new character, I'd be like, I'm still not buying it, but at least fine, you put more thought into it. Toralei? Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, sure. The same girl that tried to violently sabotage her best friend's 16th? Okay. Yeah, no. Sure, like, and I'm sorry, shoot me, but if there was gonna be a character that wasn't straight, it would have to be Abby or Gulia, and yet those two have love interests, so I'm calling bull on that one, sorry. And even though those two are like my main examples only because I wanted to complain about them. Everything's a vehicle for my own gain. But I think about other series, and like, does Sasha from Bratz get a love interest? Does Madison get a love interest? In fact, actually, just a quick aside about Madison. With the way that my scene operates, I can't necessarily strongly, I mean, I can, actually, because everyone could have, actually, yes, I can, because they all had some guy that they were interested in. Madison get one, but anyway. But the way it operates, though, I still can't fully give the writers of my scene flack the same way I can the writers of Monster High for not giving Madison a love interest. But I think it's interesting that Madison has heavy main character energy in both My Scene Goes to Hollywood and Jamming in Jamaica. I haven't watched Masquerade Madness, so I can't comment on that. But like, she has main character energy in both of them, but she's villainized for said energy. Like, a lot of complaints about why she was going to Jamaica with the band in Jamming with Jamaica. But like, she's a songwriter. Like, she's a songwriter and she writes their songs. Why wouldn't she go with the band that she writes the songs for? My Scene Goes to Hollywood, she gets the replacement line. She gets the replacement role, sorry. And, like, all of a sudden it's, ooh, medicine. She's busy. Like, stop being jealous. I'm confused. They do a lot with that. And I think she has, I didn't really finish My Scene Goes to Hollywood, but she has a love interest that ends up, like, essentially screwing her over. So I don't, very interesting writing for the only black girl in the cast. So what's my bottom line? I don't have one. Write more love interest for black girls. I'm confused. The thing is, like, I'm not a research girl, right? So I felt comfortable making a topic about this because, first of all, again, for like the upteenth time, it's just me complaining about these two. That is the only reason this video exists. That's the only reason this video exists. But also because I don't think this one needs much research. We know it's because of racism. Just write more of the characters that can be in love with the black girls that you write. Thank you. I don't understand. Although at this rate, I don't even know if we're gonna start seeing black girls in shows anyway. I mean, it's giving we're getting written out. And yes, I am taking inspiration from that one tweet, but like, seriously, where are we? I don't even think we're gonna, I genuinely think we're done from series. We're done from TV. Like, it might be over for us. I don't know if there's anything we can do to change that, which is kind of depressing, but anyway. I'm speaking hyperbolically, of course, but like, you know. Like, yes, Forever came out, but that's a show in a sea of others that have just come out and we're just not there. So I don't know. Watch the sequel video in about 2 years is gonna be, right, black women in shows. I'm laughing, but that's not funny. Like, that's actually so dark. Okay, but that's about it from me. That's all I have to say on this issue. Yeah, no, I can't squeeze any more words out. Bye. Oh, wait, Ironheart is meant to be coming out soon. I think we should all give that a stream. Bye.